In this tutorial, you'll build a real-time notification system in SwiftUI using Firebase and Firestore, where your UI updates instantly when new data arrives. On the left-hand side of the screen, the first simulator, we're logged in as Thread Blogs at the moment. So to show the application, how it works, I'll log in using Google Login as Iris Insights. Next thing I'll do, I will create a review for Thread Blogs. So I just type in hello world ABC and then post it. And as you can see, Thread Blogs, it contains a notification alert. So if I click on Thread Blogs profile, you'll see the actual notification that was submitted. Hello world ABC. And the notifications are also within a list, within the alerts as well. So we can also upload our profile image if we want to, and add our name and username. So this is the application we'll be creating. We'll wire author state into navigation so the app behaves like a product. Instant session, restore, loading state, logout, and zero duplicate logic. Within our app file, we need to type the following. What we've done here, we have configured Google sign-in from Firebase client ID. In production, Firebase owns the client ID. Don't hard code it. Don't copy and paste into the plist. This avoids environment drift and could eliminate a whole array of bugs. The next view we need to add is our root view, and then we will return to this file afterwards. So we add a new SwiftUI file. The first launch path. Keep the app in a controlled loading state. In a real app, this avoids messy UI flashing, while persistent auth or token refresh logic is still resolving. We also need to create another view, which is called loading view, but we add that later. And the same goes with our login view as well. We add that later. I'm deliberately unwrapping the associated user here at the root. That gives downstream views ready to use data immediately. We also need to create our main tab view, which we'll implement later. On a pair is needed. The root view is in the correct place to kick off the session bootstrap. One entry point, one auth decision, and predictable navigation. And this is the kind of structure that scales and grows your application. Just compile it. It seems like we need to decorate the cases with empty view so that the file compiles. Empty view. Let me try it again. Empty view. So let's go back into our app file and then apply our root view within this file. Within the Windows group section, just replace it with your root view. And then just pass in the auth to the environment object. That's required to enable Google Sign In to return to the app. Now we can create our loading view. I'll just copy and paste the code from the clipboard. Go back into our root view. Now we can comment out the code for our loading view and then delete our empty view. Now we will create our reusable container view, which is app card. Let me just create an empty file instead. View Builder initializer keeps the API flexible, so the card can wrap anything from a simple text view to a full layout without forcing callers to construct the content beforehand. Thin material gives a subtle system blur that adapts automatically to light and dark mode and platform changes, which is generally safer than hard coding background colors. The next view we need to create is banner message. The purpose of this view is just to show any errors to the user or status updates. So we create a new empty file or new SwiftUI view, it's up to you. Call it banner message. Just import SwiftUI and copy and paste what's on the clipboard. As you can see, this is also another reusable view. The next view we need to create is our main tab view. This will enable the user to navigate within the application. So let's create a new SwiftUI view. I'll just copy and paste some code from the clipboard. I prefer routing logout through the auth view model instead of handling state locally in the tab. That keeps authentication lifecycle decisions centralized. Notice each tab owns its own navigation stack. This avoids navigation state leaking across tabs, which becomes a real problem once each tab starts pushing deeper within the hierarchy. Now we can return to our root view and then apply our main tab view that we created earlier. It should be user with a lowercase u. I'll just compile it again. The next view we need to create is our login view. I'll just paste some code from the clipboard. We need to include a few private functions. We also need to create another private function for our primary button title. And also for our field. And the secure field. The next thing we need to do is to track which auth path was tapped before calling into the view model. That gives us precise loading feedback and stops the UI from showing the wrong spinner when multiple sign-in options exist. So we need to call our app card. We need to add a vstack, spacing 12. With a button, active action equals .email. If mode is equal to sign in, auth.login, email, password, else auth.register, email, password, full name. It should be full name. Now we just need to apply the button label caption, which is there. And then we're missing a function called can submit email, which we need to implement. Private var can submit as you can see, this is a computed property and not a function. That was my mistake. Can submit email let min equals mode equals dot create 6 4 return email dot contains this isn't full validation, and that's intentional. At view level, I'm only blocking obvious weak submissions. The real validation rule should still live in the auth layer. We next need to give the user the option to sign in. So we need to implement the button so that they can sign in with Google or with their username and password. To reduce the length of the video, I'll just copy and paste the rest and then explain it. I like resetting transient UI state when the async auth cycle ends. It keeps the view honest. Once the request is done, the screen stops, pretending a button is still active source of work. Now we should be able to run the application. I'm just going to check to make sure that everything is in place. The root view, the call login, remove the empty view, now let's run it. Since I'm already logged in, I will be shown my available tab items such as browse, alert and me that will navigate to my profile. But if you haven't logged in as yet, you will be prompted using a few options such as Google login or login with username and password. Let me see if I can reset the simulator to show you how that would look. Let's run the application again. I just resetted the simulator. See, as you can see, this is how it should look if you're not logged in. You can log in using Google, as mentioned, and it will come up with that and just continue. Or if you don't have an account, you can create a new account. In the next episode, we'll be able to browse profiles in real time without manually refreshing the application.